Hello and welcome to 𝐿𝐭𝐴𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐿 Bundesliga 27th match day, and the fight for the top 4 is really interesting, so let's analyze all the games, of course with Radek Vegas and with you. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and don't forget, press the like and subscribe. Let's go on with the show. Back to the Bundesliga. How are you, Radek?
I'm good. Looking forward to this game day, and maybe it's getting more exciting this game day because Borussia Dortmund has another game against Mainz, and maybe they can get closer to Bayern Munich. And we all hope that it's getting more exciting in the Bundesliga in the last game days.
Only 8 games left. So let's start with the game we have on Friday, starting with Bochum. Gladbach. Both teams are kind of correct, we can say. They are safe. 32 points. Bochum. They lost against Frankfurt, but we know, Radek, that at home they are very dangerous. Last 5 games are home, 3 victories, 1 draw and 1 defeat. Whereas for Gladbach, now they are safe after the victory against Hertha. But it's the first victory after 3 winless games. We've been seeing how Gladbach, they have a great squad, a lot of quality, but they are not reliable through the season.
No, not at all. And as you mentioned, Bochum did a great job at home. They made 1 point against Borussia Dortmund. They even won against Bayern Munich, and they only lost 0-1 against Leipzig, the 3 top teams in the Bundesliga. And so I think they can also win or make a point against Gladbach here. And not to forget, they won against Freiburg at home, and Freiburg is also on their way to the Champions League, maybe. So very good home team, Bochum at home. And as we know, Gladbach has a really, really bad season. That's why I don't think they are really favorite in this game. But on the other hand, yeah, I'm not really 100% sure betting money on Bochum. That's why what I like here really, really much is that Bochum scores the first goal. Because if you look at Oddspedia, you can change the options of betting, and you find first team to score, and we get odds of 2.2 on Bochum on this. And as I'm not sure if they can win this game in the long run, and I tend to bet on a draw, which is an option, I would say Bochum might at least make the first goal in this game, as they did in a lot of home games before, and that's why the odds of 2.2 are good enough here.
Good, then we have our bet for Friday game. You mentioned Freiburg. They are traveling and playing away against Furth. Freiburg, you mentioned that they are still fighting to get into the Champions League after the victory against Wolfsburg, with Grifo scoring a brace, but away. Again, another team that suffered a lot, only 1 victory in the last 5 games. And Furth, of course, we know that they are suffering. They will go to the Bundesliga too. They were thrashed by Leipzig 1-6, but before this game, they were fighting actually at home.
Yeah, and we all know that Furth is not that bad at home, and they are able to score goals. And because the odds on Freiburg are too low with 1.7 away, and so I won't bet on Freiburg here. And that's why we get decent odds on both teams to score with 1.8, and I think it's possible that Furth is scoring at home, and Freiburg should also score because they might win this game or want to win this game, and that's why this is a good idea.
I remember also, Radek, that we back both teams to score in Furth, Leipzig, and
at least one.
Exactly.
No matter how many goals they conceded, but they can score.
Exactly, we won our bet. Also, we have Hertha Berlin, Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim, another team fighting for the Champions League, because after the draw against Bayern Munich, a great result. Before that, they won 4 consecutive games, so they are in a great run. Whereas for Hertha, right now they are in direct relegation spots. Danger for Hertha another season. Their last victory, Radek, was the 18th of December. Long time.
Yeah, and now they sacked and fired their coach, 𝐿𝐭𝐴𝐴𝐿.
Finally.
Yeah. Now, before he was the second coach in the season after Paul Dardai, and now Felix Magath took over. German soccer legend, legendary player, legendary coach, was one of 9 coaches in the Bundesliga ever who managed to win 2 championships with 2 different clubs with Bayern Munich. Okay, everyone wins championships with Bayern Munich, but he also won the championship with Wolfsburg in 2009, which was one of the greatest surprises in Bundesliga ever. And Felix Magath is my absolutely favorite coach all time. I really think he's brilliant. You have to just read his Wikipedia article if you don't know everything about him, because when he stepped into coaching teams, he made every team which was on a relegation spot almost to a European contender. And he did this with Frankfurt, Stuttgart, and some other clubs, Bremen before, and then he came to Bayern Munich and made two times in a row championship and cup won, which was also the first coach in Germany who won cup and championship 2 years in a row. So Felix Magath is an awesome coach, but the problem is Hertha sucks big, and he hasn't coached a club for about 6 or 7 years now. But anyway, this is the only chance I think Hertha has to hold the class, and that's why I'm optimistic in this game that Hertha can make maybe a point here against Hoffenheim. But the odds are not really attractive betting on Hertha or a draw here. And it's too dangerous as well. And that's why what I like most here after a long Felix Magath love story, I would bet on over 3 goals. And so I think Hertha can also score 1 or 2 goals in this game. And then we have odds of 1.8 or 1.9 around.
Okay, goals then in Hertha Hoffenheim. Hopefully we see Hertha also in the Bundesliga. No, we already lost Schalke. We don't want to lose Hertha, another classic. Perhaps we lose Bielefeld, always struggling to keep the safety and to stay in the Bundesliga. Mainz, Bielefeld is our next game. Mainz, they lost to Union Berlin, but again, another very good team playing at home. They won the last 5 games, and for Bielefeld, they lost 4 out of the last 5 games. And again, Radek, they struggle a lot to score all these defeats without scoring a single goal.
Yes, 1 goal in 5 games, that's like a second league team or even a third league team. And that's not really competitive, what Bielefeld shows at the moment. That's a little bit sad, because they made very, very good points in the first leg of the season, but in 2022 everything seems to be different in Bielefeld, and that's why I would say betting on Mainz is the only option, as a home victory has odds of 1.7. An alternative for that is both teams to score no. As you mentioned, Bielefeld only scored 1 goal in 5 games, so why should they score now at Mainz, where Mainz is, clear favorite. That's why both teams to score has odds of 1.8. And at the end, I really like the Mainz victory 1.7 more.
And talking about the relegation, Bielefeld, they can drop into the bottom 3, and perhaps Stuttgart go out. Stuttgart, Augsburg, really favorite Stuttgart. I'm surprised actually to see these odds, 2.2. After the draw with Union Berlin, they are now in the playoff spots. At least they got a victory against Gladbach, a point against Union Berlin. So they are back on the good track. But Augsburg, as we saw against Bielefeld, they can compete. And also they drew against Dortmund, so it won't be easy to face Augsburg right now.
Yes, and I think it's for Stuttgart a bit too. Yeah, it's a fake position on position 16 because they only made 4 points now, and that is not a game changer that they made a last minute goal with 𝐜𝐿 scoring in the last game against Union Berlin and winning at home against a really bad Gladbach. So these were the points Stuttgart was collecting, and the only reason that they're not on a relegation or on the last 2 spot is that Hertha is so bad and even worse than Stuttgart. And that's why I think Augsburg is in a better shape at the moment. Augsburg also has, was always competitive in the last games. They, if they lost very closely. They scored goals. They won important games like they did against Bielefeld. So I think Augsburg is the better deal here, and that's why I would say double chance on Augsburg has chances of 1.85, and yeah, I think that's better than hoping that Stuttgart turns the curve around.
Double chance. This is a massive game for both teams. Only 3 points between the two teams, so massive game for the relegation battle. And we have one game more on Saturday. Bayern Munich, Union Berlin. You mentioned at the beginning that the title is still there if Borussia Dortmund they are able to beat Mainz in midweek, because Bayern they are dropping points, especially when they are playing away, perhaps because they are putting all their effort in the Champions League. But at home, apart from that game against Gladbach, they are always very, very reliable. And I guess having a week to rest, it's time for them to win big again.
Yeah, maybe, like they did against Salzburg.
Exactly.
After, the first journalists said, Bayern Munich is in a crisis. They only make 1-1 against Leverkusen. Where's the problem? And then Bayern fires back 7 times against Salzburg. Yeah, that is just what Bayern Munich is, one of the best teams in Europe. And at home especially, they are almost unbeatable, and Union Berlin has no arguments or reasons after losing 3 games in a row, and no matter what, the odds on Bayern Munich with 1.2 are really too low and too dangerous, because the last games they drew as well against Hoffenheim and Leverkusen. And so I hope Union Berlin is able to score, because Bayern Munich is mostly focused on scoring goals, and they always score a lot of goals, mostly more goals than the opponents, and that's why Union Berlin should maybe score a goal. It's hard for them after Kruse left, because he was the brain and the heart of the game of Union Berlin. But anyway, I think the odds are good enough, around 2, if both teams to score, and way better than betting on Bayern Munich's small odds. And that's why let's hope Union Berlin makes at least 1 goal there.
Okay, they lost the last 3 away games without scoring, actually, a single goal. But we have good odds then for both teams to score. And on Sunday, we have 3 games. Leipzig, Frankfurt, Leipzig back to the top 4. The reality is that with Tedesco, they are doing really well. No, they thrashed Furth, and that meant in the last 5 Bundesliga games, 4 victory, 1 draw was against Freiburg at home. Whereas for Frankfurt, they are also in good shape, even in the Bundesliga, but perhaps they put their effort in the Europa League. They got a victory against Betis. They have to play the second leg. That's why now the book is trust against this Leipzig.
Yeah, that's really hard to bet on, because the odds on Leipzig are too low, only 1.5, and betting against Leipzig at the moment is not a wise idea in my eyes. And as you mentioned, that Frankfurt has more focus on the European games, and so I won't bet too much on them, as I think can be an option betting on over 3 goals, as we've seen a lot of goals in the last Leipzig game, and Frankfurt also has the potential to score. The problem here is that Leipzig has a good defense and can make it hard for Frankfurt to score, but at the end, over 3 goals at odds of 1.95 are worth a shot.
And an interesting game is the following one, Wolfsburg Leverkusen, because Leverkusen, we mentioned that they were able to draw in the Allianz Arena, but they lost with Cologne, and they are putting in risk their Champions League spot one season again, because they are always losing their Champions League spots in the last seasons at the end of the season. Only 1 victory in the last 5 games in all competition. They also lost in the Europa League. And Wolfsburg, Radek, we know that they have the quality, but they are doing a very poor season, and they usually lose against top teams, against Freiburg, for instance, very recently.
Yeah, but I think the key to this game is that Leverkusen has a very important game against Atalanta in the Europe Cup, and 3 days before this game at home, where they have to keep up the 2-3 from the first game. And the other thing is that Leverkusen is kind of unpredictable, because after the 1-1 against Bayern Munich, it might seem that they can win easily against Cologne, but it seemed that even 1 point against Bayern Munich is cursed. So Leverkusen couldn't win the game after, and even lost the game after a good game against Bayern Munich. So I think the chances are better betting against Leverkusen here, and as Wolfsburg is getting kind of better from game to game under 𝐿𝐭𝐿, and they are still able to score goals and make close games and even make points. I think the draw of 3.7 is a better option than betting on Leverkusen, which might be exhausting, might be unreliable, might be missing Wirtz, who was injured in the last game. So there are a lot of points against Leverkusen, and in this case I would say a draw is fair for both teams, and best odds of 3.7.
Okay, Leverkusen 45 points behind Leipzig, Freiburg and Hoffenheim with 44. So again, they can lose their Champions League spot. And the last game is Cologne, Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund, they still have to play before after we are recording this video, against Mainz. And as you mentioned, they can get closer to Bayern Munich, but they are not showing a great shape lately. They beat Bielefeld only 1-0. The good news for them is that Haaland is back, and this is always a good addition. And I guess it's not easy to play in Cologne. In the last games, we are seeing very low scoring games when we are seeing Cologne, actually.
Yeah, you just have to watch at their goal difference, and they have scored 37 goals and conceded 39 goals. So that's not much at this point of the season. And compared to Borussia Dortmund, they scored 65 goals, almost the double amount of goals, and just conceded 2 goals less than Cologne. And at the end, Cologne is overperforming from time to time, winning against Leverkusen. No one expected, I think. And so no one really expects them to make a point against Borussia Dortmund. It's not impossible. But as you said, Haaland is back, and this is my only reason betting on good odds on Borussia Dortmund here. You get odds of 2.05. And with Haaland, Dortmund should step up, and they have the chance now, their last chance, getting closer to Bayern Munich, and that's why I think they might win this game. And odds of 2.05 are really good.
We are missing a lot Haaland this season. He's getting injured very often in the last 5 home games for Cologne. Both teams to score? No. If someone also wants to bet on that, this is the stat we can find in Oddspedia. This is it, Radek. We have all the games. Can you give us an ACCA for this weekend?
Yeah, very hard weekend. I have a lot of interesting single bets, but to find an 𝐿𝐿𝐴CCA, especially if you want to make Asian Handicap 0 games, we have not really favorites playing with high odds, so that's not worth to bet on. But I have a double draw bet, as I think Stuttgart and Augsburg are drawing, and the other one could be, as I said, Wolfsburg versus Leverkusen. You get odds of 3.6 at the first game and 3.7 at the second game, and together these are odds of around 14. So yeah, that's my double X 𝐿𝐴CCA.
And Radek, we have good odds for this weekend, and we have different actually betting options. Let's try our luck. Thanks.
Yeah, good luck.
See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
You have now all the info to bet in this new match day in the Bundesliga. As always, tell me your tips in the comment section. Don't forget to support us, press the like and subscribe. And of course, remember as well, we have a podcast for you. Thanks for watching. See you soon.